The 10 best Denzel Washington movies. Before we get started, be sure to give that like button a little love and hit subscribe to stay in the loop for future exciting content. 1. Cry Freedom, 1987. You can beat or jail me or even kill me, but I am not going to be what you want me to be. Cry Freedom is a character study of South African anti-apartheid activist Steve Biko Washington and his friend, journalist Donald Woods, Kevin Kline. Although initially skeptical of one another, the two men form a close bond. After Biko is killed by government security forces, Woods sets out to expose the truth. Consequently, Biko's death drew global attention, turning him into a resistance icon. This was an early role that pushed Washington outside his comfort zone and showed what he was capable of. Here, he faces the challenge of putting on a foreign accent and embodying a person from a very different culture. He more than rises to the occasion, as does Kline. Their performances are clear highlights. 2. The Equalizer, 2014. I don't have a lot of time, which means you don't have any. Reinventing the 1980s TV series, The Equalizer centers on Robert McCall Washington, a former Black Ops agent now leading a quiet life. However, when he witnesses the brutal beating of a sex worker named Terry, Chloe Grace Moritz, at the hands of Russian gangsters, McCall's sense of justice is reignited. Dusting off his formidable skills, he resolves to confront the criminals, drawing the ire of the entire mob in the process. In many ways, The Equalizer is simply a generic action flick, with two-dimensional villains and a mostly predictable plot. What sets it apart is Washington's charisma. The script doesn't give him all that much to work with, but he succeeds in making McCall feel real and compelling. 3. Remember the Titans, 2000? If you survive camp, you will be on the team. If you survive. Alexandria, Virginia, 1971. Coach Herman Boone, Washington, is appointed as the head coach of the newly integrated T.C. Williams High School football team, much to the dismay of the white former head coach Bill Yost, Will Patton. As tensions run high in the community, Coach Boone faces the daunting task of forging his players into a cohesive team. The character of Boone is a good fit for Washington. The scenes of him putting the players through the ringer of his intense training are especially memorable. As Entertainment Weekly memorably quipped, he gets to play Martin Luther King Jr., and Vince Lombardi rolled into one. 4. Inside Man, 2006. When there's blood on the streets, somebody's gotta go to jail. Master thief Dalton Russell, Clyde Owen, leads a team of skilled criminals in executing a seemingly flawless heist at a Manhattan bank. However, things take an unexpected turn when Detective Keith Frazier, Washington, is called in to negotiate with Russell and resolve the tense standoff. As Frazier delves deeper into the situation, he realizes that there is more to the robbery than meets the eye. Inside Man was the fourth collaboration between Washington and Spike Lee and their most commercially successful, becoming the director's highest-grossing movie. The film's appeal is obvious. It's a smart genre movie that serves up a steady stream of thrills alongside implicit social commentary. 5. Philadelphia, 1993. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, forget everything you've seen on television and in the movies. Andrew Beckett, Tom Hanks, a successful lawyer, is unjustly fired from his prestigious law firm after his employers discover he is gay and has AIDS. Determined to seek justice, Andrew hires Joe Miller Washington, a reluctant and initially close-minded attorney, to represent him in a wrongful termination lawsuit. Hanks won his first Oscar for the role, but Washington's performance is also worthy of praise. He turns what could have been a stock character into a surprisingly layered figure. Miller grapples with his own struggles and changes considerably over the course of the film. 6. Man on Fire, 2004. It's off to the next life for you. I guarantee you, you won't be lonely. Washington once more embodies the spirit of righteous vengeance in this incendiary action thriller. He plays John Creasy, a former CIA operative who becomes a bodyguard for the young Lupita Ramos, Dakota Fanning. Initially distant and disillusioned, Creasy forms a surprisingly strong bond with the girl. When she is kidnapped, Creasy sets out to raise hell. Man on Fire is gritty exploitation cinema with a big budget. The violence is hard-hitting, amplified by dynamic editing and unconventional camera work. Washington and director Tony Scott worked together 5 times, resulting in gems like Crimson Tide and Unstoppable. But this is their best project. 7. Malcolm X, 1992. We didn't land on Plymouth Rock. Plymouth Rock landed on us. Once again, Washington takes on the role of a civil rights leader, this time playing Nation of Islam spokesman Malcolm X. The film charts his entire life, from his troubled youth to his rise to prominence as a firebrand fighter for justice. It's a truly sweeping biopic, spanning the 1930s to the 60s and clocking in at some 3 hours and 20 minutes. Washington's performance here is arguably the high point of his career. Malcolm X was an influential and controversial figure, more of a symbol than a real person in the eyes of many. 8. Glory, 1989. I ran away when I was 12 years old, and I ain't never looked back. This historical drama tells the true story of the 54th Massachusetts Volunteer Infantry, one of the first all-black regiments in the Union Army during the Civil War. They display unwavering courage despite facing danger from the enemy and prejudice from many of their brothers in arms. Washington won the Best Supporting Actor Oscar for his role as Private Tripp, a young officer who looks out for his regiment. He gets many of the film's most stirring moments, like the climactic scene where he finally raises the American flag. The end product is a unique and moving Civil War film that engages with a thicket of thorny questions. 9. American Gangster, 2007. The loudest one in the room is the weakest one in the room. Ridley Scott's gritty crime drama revolves around Harlem Drug Lord Frank Lucas, Washington, and Richie Roberts, Russell Crowe, the detective determined to bring him down. It's a premise that's been done many times before, but American Gangster stands out thanks to a more sophisticated, character-driven screenplay by Steven Zaillian. Scott builds on the script's solid foundation costume and production design, as well as an energetic soundtrack featuring 1970s R&B soul classics. On the acting side, Washington clearly enjoys this corrupted character, exuding confidence and menace in equal measure. He prepared for the role by meeting with the real Lucas and extensively practicing his Southern accent. 10. Training Day, 2001. To protect the sheep, you got catch the wolf, and it takes a wolf to catch a wolf. Training Day follows rookie cop Jake Hoyt, Ethan Hawke, as he embarks on his first day under the tutelage of seasoned narcotics officer Alonzo Harris Washington. What begins as an opportunity for Jake to prove himself quickly turns into a harrowing journey of corruption and moral ambiguity. Alonzo's unorthodox methods push Jake to his limits as they navigate the dangerous streets of South Central LA. Please show your support and appreciation by hitting Super Thanks. Proceeds will go to fund future videos.